Subscribe! That's right. Fate bringer in your face. Your fate. By the way, I meant to throw that Sonic cup away and someone commented saying, hey, now this is it. This is my sign. The Sonic cup. By the way, not sponsored, but Sonic. And then we got sun chips, cheddar harvest. Are you hungry now? This is your sign. Go get you a bag. Also not sponsored. What if I just got a random sponsor for the shit? Like Sonic's like, hey, we want to sponsor you. Like, why? That's gonna be my response is fucking why? Anyways, cheers to that, I guess. If that ever happened. Hell yeah, you don't even have to pay me. Just give a life free sun chips every day or something. Whatever. By the way, that will make me die from diabetes. You get diabetes from sun chips? That's a lot of fiber. I might be caked up. I'm just saying I'll be caked up and not in the good way. I've had that much fiber. You know what I mean, brother? Anyways, we're back to our daily collection of infinity stones. That's right. We have another YouTuber who is voicing their irritation and concern for Destiny. That's right. By the way, don't feel bad because we're definitely going to be covering some more Borderlands drama. You just can't get away from it. Can we get a win for video games where there is no drama? Hell, even Battlefield has drama with like COD players bitching about the nerfs to movement. Like there's a whole drama. But we're gonna jump into today's video because Destiny drama is spicy right now, and it's kind of nice to just see, as Astrocross put it, watch shit burn. And so here we're gonna watch a video by iShillMaiden. I don't really know them, but anytime I've seen them on Twitter, it's been some severe glaze. And by the way, I'm gonna refresh this, but the hate disarray is like fucking double. Like I have no idea whether this is them being honest or them, we're gonna find out. Is this them trying to glaze Bungie still or try to hope on to copium? Like, let's see the comment section. Absolutely not. Blaming the players is an extremely bad take. Oh shit. Damn. Sweet baby. Okay, I don't know what I was saying. I'm looking at all the Destiny shit going on. Damn. We're on for a fucking banger if we're blaming the players. We're about to jump into fucking a hot shit fest, I believe, and I'm ready for it. Let's jump in.
Shield. This is probably the most serious and
shout out to the PC. Listen, I like the drip. That looks fucking fire.
unfun video I've ever done. I had a whole other type of video that I wanted to publish. I had done like a voiceover with screenshots of lots of tweets and talking about everything, and really it doesn't matter, because at the end of the day nothing is good enough, and that's kind of the point of the whole video. I had,
nothing's good enough.
I wrote, which I might still kind of pull from, but
rule number 1. Unless you're going to say things that are going to, be on par with the community sentiment, always use a fucking script. That way you don't say something that sinks ships. Or unless you're like me and you just don't give a shit. That's me. Cheers.
At the end of the day, nothing is good enough for the Destiny 2 community, and that's what I'm angry at.
That's what you're angry about? Oh! What the fuck? That's what you're angry about? Bro, we're off to a fucking banger.
I'm not really one for super long intros, so let me just kind of get into it.
We do super long intros because it's, first off, it's my channel. Secondly, that's probably the most where I get, entertainment for people is at the intro, is because that's when I'm being stupid and silly and people enjoy that the most.
I am angry with the Destiny 2 community.
Why?
Before anyone runs to the comments and is like,
too late.
cope, Bungie shill, skill issue, girl gamer opinion.
Okay. You had us at the first part, and then you started going toward the dark, like what the fuck and the rest. Yes, it's like 10 minutes. I'm going to react as it comes because it's a short video anyways. So I might as well give you my opinion as it is. I could just watch all 10 minutes and then react, but like, then you could just watch the fucking video yourself. By the way, link will be down below.
It doesn't matter. Whatever. I don't care. Okay, I've played this game through highs and lows every time.
So have I.
Some Destiny killer game came around. I was still playing Destiny 2, you know. This time.
By the way, we're in a mode with Destiny that is not like any other time in Destiny history. We've gone full circle where Destiny is in a drought, just like Destiny 1, but it's in a worse state than Destiny 1, in my opinion. Not only that, sentiment around Destiny is worse than it was in D1. At least D1, they were still coming into their own. People were more reasonable. They were willing to come back for expansions. You're not seeing the same kind of reaction now with Destiny 2, especially we're 8 years in now, 8 years in. Yeah, we're no longer in that point in time. So it is the whole concept of, like, I hate this from content creators and people. Oh, we're always in the, we're dead and we're back. We're dead and we're back. You know, Destiny actually is dying. Like, it is actually, and it's not even necessarily just players. It's Bungie's actually killing the game themselves. Like, not just for the bugs, but also just the amount of content that is even playable. Like, they are they're actively sabotaging themselves.
It really kind of feels like Destiny is in its grave, and I feel like we put it there. Now, I'm not.
Damn. What the fuck? We put it there. Not the $1 billion company. Okay, perfect time. Before we continue, is it this one? There you go. The dick sucking meter. Alrighty, where are you feeling on the dick sucking meter? We're about to go. You think we're in the green, or we think we're getting to the red? Because at what point do you point on the dick suck meter and you say, yeah, no, it's not our fault? You know, in this regard, is things shit? I mean, she's not right. She's not wrong, by the way. To a certain extent, people have allowed the meter to fill up and what was acceptable, and we've allowed Bungie to sabotage the game. Like, we have just started putting our foot down on like the MTX bullshit and the bugs. Like, I've been screaming it for almost a year, 2 years now about this, and now everyone else is starting to get onto the bandwagon. We're no longer in the you're just being negative. Now people are like, no, this is fair criticism, and now we're against other content creators who are trying to bottle it up as just being, you know, bitching, right? As put by Astacross, is 60% of people just are never going to be happy, and we're just bitching to bitch. Yeah, I do agree to a degree. She is not actually wrong that the community has allowed the dick sucking meter to fill up. Now, at what point do you actually blame the community for the bad choices that Bungie has done? Like, outside of MTX and allowing them to crank it out, like the bugs and all that shit. At some point, you know, we tolerate it, but they are still the developers of said game, and it's still, the burden is on them. I'm not a fucking developer. It should be my job to babysit a $1 billion company. That's not what I meant to do. I meant to get this off, the dick sucking meter off. We'll return to that maybe.
Saying Bungie was perfect. I'm not saying that they didn't make some bad calls, because they 1000% did. Okay, so let me just get that out there right out the gate.
Maybe this is where you should follow a script. Just a little pro tip, and when it comes to actually talk, you know, this is obviously important to them. You use a script in this regard to make sure your viewers and the people who are consuming the content, because you know the community is going to be checking this out, and this is directed to the community. And right now, the community is not happy. With that regard, I would be phrasing things in a way that gets your point across, but isn't antagonistic. Which, right off the rip, instead of just immediately saying Bungie has messed up, But at the same time, the community has allowed some of these things to happen. Instead, it's like, it's your fault. You and then relay that Bungie is also messed up. No, you're putting the community as the forefront, which, by the way, from a psychological point of view, it says a lot about the mindset of this whole video, is that the community is the problem first, and then it's Bungie. And it does. It actually matters in the way you present something, information. The most important stuff should be in the front, not the back. In this case, the community is the centerfold problem, not Bungie themselves.
Bungie has made some terrible calls, and
tell me more.
Cater to everybody just means that nobody is going to have fun.
She's correct.
For example,
she's correct.
Weapon crafting.
By the way, don't grill me. Looks like a girl, sounds like a girl. Don't know if I'm mistaken. I'm sorry. I apologize. Listen, I'm not trying to start, beef, and especially if this is your favorite content creator. I don't know them from Adam and Eve, so I'm assuming it sounds like a female. I'm assuming that I don't know. Like, I'm not, trying to dissect. I'm just gonna put this out there. I have no fucking clue. So I'm trying to say them because you're right, obvious reasons.
People who didn't like RNG wanted weapon crafting. And then there were people who were upset with weapon crafting because they missed the chase of RNG.
Yes.
Okay, so then they took away weapon crafting.
Yes.
Okay, so now the people who like RNG are happy, and the people who wanted weapon crafting are upset. So who wins?
So here's the deal. I think tier system does not solve RNG. In fact, it actually makes it worse for the people who like RNG, because it just makes it, because you're not looking, you're no longer looking. And by the way, the tier system isn't even RNG. The power scaling and grind is RNG to a certain extent, but farming, if you are a 400, you will get tier 4s as long as you hit the score. Like that, there's no RNG. That's like saying doing a master mode is RNG whether you get an adept. No, if you did master, you got a fucking adept weapon. Or you did a grandmaster and you completed it, you got an adept weapon. Like the concept of RNG in this regard is not the same. RNG and the perks, sure, but it's not the same. Like, people do not like the tier system for weapons, because unless you're getting a tier 4 or tier 5, people see it as ass, especially tier 1 and tier 2, which is why Bungie's made the pinnacle event activity, the Desert Perpetual Raid. That's why they finally made the base drop tier 3, which is what crafting kind of was in Destiny, before Edge of Fate. It's kind of like a mixture of crafting and adepts, right? It's kind of a mixture of it, because you get double perks instead of one perk. Like, that should have been the base. There should never have been tier 1, tier 2, because those are just like basic ass blues at this point. Crafting, like the idea of crafting was that you could get the perk that you wanted, the role set that you wanted. You can get them enhanced, and you felt good about it. I think the community had spitballed ways that they could have made crafting, where you unlocked perks by farming weapons. You unlock different perks. You can then craft it, so you got time. I think the idea right now that getting a god roll is hard is not true, especially if you're at 400, you get multiple perks. Tier 3, you're multiple perks. Tier 5, you get 3 perks. Like, I have not found since the portal changes that I have not gotten a gun that I wanted with the roll that I want. It's just never been an issue. I think it's even easier now with the tier system to get the perks that you want. But the problem is that you have to sell your soul to the devil to grind up a very pointless and boring, monotonous power grind. I would rather have to do grandmaster like challenges to get better loot, like we did back in the day. And then you could have crafting at the same time. Like, adept could be better than crafting. Like, there were so many solutions. But I hear this argument that Bungie's trying to appease the masses, and to an extent, they are not wrong. Bungie is trying to play both sides, the casuals and the veterans. But I don't think veterans ever complained about adepts. I think people were okay with like the time lost vault of glass weapons. Like people were farming the shit out of that. I know I was. So the concept of tier weapons was not necessary. Now, tiered armor, I think was great. I think that's how you make armor viable, you know, make people want to chase and do builds. Sure, that's going to piss off your casuals, but you know, getting easy access to tier 3s would have essentially appeased them. Why? Because tier 3s is essentially what we had before the tier system was even introduced when it comes to armor. So if they had easy access to tier 3s, and then tier 4 and 5 is like the pinnacle where it's actually based on skill versus, hey, I spent 3 hours of my life grinding up to this level, and now I just beat this activity. I'm guaranteed at tier 4. Oh, I'm 550. I just get tier 5s for just sneezing on the game. Like it's ass backwards. Not only are you not helping the casuals, but you're not satisfying the veterans. You've got it backwards. Like the easiest it should be is in the front to get the goods, you know, the lower level stuff. And without having to, like, tier 3, you shouldn't have to grind to 300 at base, at 200 or whatever you're at cap wise. You should be able to get tier 3s of what the game used to be. And then you should feel an expression of skill to get tier 5s, right? And there is no skill. The concept of skill is not here. And so in that regard, we've gone full circle where we've not actually solved the problem. You're not satisfying casuals or veterans.
Because now they're just bummed because they had it and now it's gone. You know what I mean? I definitely think that Bungie, if they had a specific idea for what they wanted for this game, they should have said, to hell with everybody's constructive criticism and feedback. We're going to do what we want with this game, and the people who want to play it will play it. With that being,
they kind of already did that. The tier system literally is that. They said, hell, we're going to do whatever, you know, whatever. And they did that. And especially with the power progression, I think like the power progression is the biggest middle finger to the community because no one wanted that.
Being said, again, Bungie has made some awful decisions. We can all agree on that. I think what a lot of people in the community have a hard time with is understanding that the community also needs to be held somewhat accountable for the state of Destiny 2 as it is right now. And I say this because every time Bungie tried something new or tried to give something better or what works for them, but it was like a combination of what works for them and what the community kind of asked for, you know, there was like some kind of gray areas, but it doesn't really matter what they did. It's always been met with some sort of screaming.
This is I already don't like, this is a disingenuous argument because one, we are being very critical of the community without giving specifics. You're making a bold claim. You're putting the burden on the community, but yet you're not actually giving very specific examples. Now I'm going to let it play out. Maybe they will, but so far there has been zero specifics and multiple instances, by the way. Like you're gonna blame the community for how all Destiny's turned out. Woo! You better come with some fucking receipts because I've got receipts here in a minute.
I mean, I'm talking hours after something is implemented. There are YouTube videos, there are Twitter posts, there are Reddit threads all screaming about how this game is so dog shit. The game is dead. This is the worst update ever. Again,
no specifics, just making general ass stuff. I could say that, oh, Bungie shills praising the game like they've released an update and they're praising it already. Yeah, well, that's very generic. And while maybe true, it would be helpful if I said people were glazing the Ash and Iron update, even though it did not provide anything but bugs and didn't even provide any SIVA. And then you got content creators praising the Iron Banner armor change where they actually added it. That's not a W. They promised they would do that based on their TWID. Like, that's a perfect example of me criticizing, in this regard, content creators. You're going to criticize people, the community, especially the people who are calling out Bungie. you need to bring some fucking specifics. You're just making some general ass argument. The community is the problem. Okay, how?
And I do put some of the blame on some content creators because negative clickbait works the best.
Yes. Now the question is the negative criticism, is it valid criticism, or is it valid criticism that you don't like so you consider it clickbait? Like, how much of it is valid versus not?
Do what you got to do to get your bag, but like, it's only hurting the game, okay?
Oh, it's hurting the game. Not Bungie. You know, the fact that people couldn't even play the game the other day because anytime you died, you couldn't res. That we are hurting the game. We are hurting the game.
I don't agree with that kind of content, yet here we are. Here's the wild part, okay? Sometimes the intentions were good.
All right, before we get shit started. She didn't bring any fucking receipts. Let's bring receipts about what Bungie has done good that they threw in the trash that people have applauded them. Into the Light. Massive W. People praise them. They said they love Onslaught. They love the content release. Fast forward, Bungie says that, we're getting free season updates. Where they're going to be smaller, but they're going to be at the quality of Into the Light. They use Into the Light as an example. And here we are, fast forward, Ash and Iron. Do you think they gave us the quality of Into the Light? No. No. Oh, but that's not good enough. What about Pathfinder? Yeah, people fucking love that, and they removed it. Oh, but what about vendor reputation? That's right. Very new player friendly, very veteran friendly for resources. But every vendor had a reputation track. You can get some guns. You can get some currency. You get some loot. You're even able to get some exotics. It was a great way to help your friends. Everything about that was a W. No one was complaining about it. And Bungie scrapped it entirely. Spent, I don't know how many dev resources and years, filling up. Because they did vendor after vendor after vendor over a course of a time. And then they just ditched it completely. But hey, we're not going to talk about that. We're not going to talk about how Bungie has tried things new. And then they just, even if the community praises them for it, they just throw it down the toilet. We're not going to talk about the praises that we do give and the things that we've said that worked. And then they threw it in the fucking toilet. Let's not talk about that, okay? We just want to talk about how the community's never happy, right? And we're never happy.
People wanted the game to be better.
By the way, dick sucking meter. Where do you think this person lies at?
Evolve to fix what was broken, to tweak what needed to be adjusted.
The entire fucking game?
Instead of letting Bungie breathe, instead of letting ideas and implementation settle, the community just demanded instant change. If the changes came too slowly, rage. If the changes came too quickly, rage, because it wasn't perfect.
Again, what fucking changes? Be fucking specific. The Bungie trying to make changes to the portal and make it feel worse when the community criticized how the portal felt like ass. And so Bungie, and complaining about how we're all having to do fucking solo ops. So Bungie was going to quickly implement a change that made solo ops worse while not barely buffing anything else. Those changes that the community called out. That's how you specify your shit. This is rage bait. This is clickbait. Unironically, this person has made actual, you played yourself. This is the meme, you played yourself. This is fucking rage bait.
Perfect. It's just a lose-lose situation. You cannot sprint a marathon, but...
Well, apparently Bungie can't even make a marathon. They can't even do a marathon. Oh shit.
This community really fucking tried. Everyone wanted Destiny to be this like flawless, perfect live service game.
People wanted Destiny to continue to be fun. They want it to, at this point, I think I speak for 90% of the community that isn't content creators. People at this point just want the game to fucking run correctly. They don't, at this point, we're at the bare fucking minimum. Like, sure, the portal sucks dick, but I think people would just like at the base to be able to turn on and play the fucking game without there being insta crashes or bugs or outages, or you can't play this because it's, you know, you can't do VOG because the cutscene crashes it. Oh, you can't do, you know, duality because the bells are fucking not working. Oh, you can't play the fucking game because you spawn dead. You can't even do the new reclaim for the season mid update because you spawn in dead and you wipe. You just wipes you. You lose all your tokens. You can't spawn. Everyone's dead in the new reclaim that they just released. Oh, the raid. Banner's not working. Damage isn't correct. Shit's not working. Supers are bugged. Abilities not working. You see, that's the kind of problem. That's being specific. Yeah. But hey, the community is the problem. We're the problem.
The updates at the speed of Fortnite.
And we're the ones that forced Bungie to make these changes. We're the ones that forced Bungie to, by the way, not a fucking person asked for the portal. Not a fucking person asked for it. They asked for a better new player experience. They never fucking asked for the portal. They asked for updates to armor and stats and maybe weapons, like in the, like, people want crafting versus RNG, right? That's the argument that was going on. But no one asked for the fucking portal, and no one asked for the power grind to come back. In fact, most of the community didn't like that shit. And even now, the biggest problem with the portal is the power grind. For the past several months, the issue has been power grind. That is the biggest thing. You hear portal, power grind is ass. You think Destiny, you think the game is not functioning at a base. Those are the two issues. Let's get the fuck out of here. Now, past tense, there was, again, we still had bugs and crashes and issues, and the seasonal content was getting fucking boring and stale. And they were rushing out content, even though they supposedly worked in advance, which, by the way, Bungie's fucking own Justin Truman did a fucking, the GDC and said it's velocity over fucking positioning, over quality. It is literally Bungie's fucking motto to shove stuff out the fucking door. Get the Bungie dick out of your mouth and stop blaming the community for shit that Bungie, the billion-dollar company, has chosen. No one told Bungie, hey, make multiple side incubation projects that have either failed or Sony has taken over. No one told you to, hey, let's do a battle fucking royale. No one told you to do that. Let's stop sucking the dick. Let's get off the dick suck meter and stop sucking the dick of a billion-dollar company and blaming the community for choices and decisions that the fucking company themselves chose to do. Because if Bungie was making decisions based on what the community actually fucking wanted, they wouldn't be in the fucking negative, and they wouldn't have lost so much goddamn money on failed incubation projects that no one fucking asked for.
It, you know, has a competitive game mode that's on par with esports games. Driven for esports.
By the way, anyone who thought that was essentially Destiny 2 launch, because it was so fucking stale and so generic, it was very obvious that, and by the way, I'm almost certain that was also Activision's choice, because they were trying to make it more of an esports. Like, there was talks about it. I'm like, this is never gonna happen.
You want the stories written like a really like high-end MMO. It's just, you cannot have all of those coexist at once and expect perfection. No, even more, you cannot expect that kind of perfection overnight. It's just when Bungie.
So this is year 11 when you're talking about story and lessons learned. So at what year do you expect Bungie to deliver good content? Was it when they released Witch Queen, which was highly praised, but then they fumbled Lightfall? What about the Final Shape, which was mostly praised? It was mostly high quality, but then we got Edge of Fate. Like, At what point does Bungie or Forsaken, which was seemed as like, in my opinion, is still one of the best DLCs we've ever had. I still think it's better than the final shape. Just the quality and the story, everything about it was just perfection. Raid, perfection, right? Salvation Edge was fine. I still think Last Wish was a lot more hyped up, especially for coming back to the Destiny universe that people had essentially abandoned because of how bad the launch was. Like it was a different era. So at what point in this 11-year journey do we start, holding Bungie accountable and expecting them, how much time do they fucking need to cook?
Couldn't hit all of those marks at once. The community just loses patience. And instead of working with the long game, people push and push and push until the game itself literally just broke under pressure. Even the best intentions, like wanting faster updates, more transparency, quicker fixes, it just becomes fuel for this fire. The community didn't just want Destiny to improve, they wanted it to transform overnight. And that demand...
Again, you're just making a general statement and you're not actually providing, like, again, you're bottling up everything in the community, any criticism, everything as your own thoughts of it. Sure, you could say the same thing about me, but I think I've brought some pretty fucking good points and evidence at moments in Destiny and Bungie's history to kind of point out, like, yeah, there's some logic to what I'm saying versus I just think y'all bitching. Y'all are the problem, not Bungie. Y'all the problem. Let Bungie cook.
And that impatience literally suffocated the future of Destiny 2. Destiny 2 feels so hollow right now. There's nothing to explore. I'm the only person in my clan list.
And do you think the community asked for it? No one asked for the portal. No one asked Bungie from the community. And here's this is why she's got, like, they have got the biggest fallacy on their mouth right now. The biggest call out to why they're so fucking wrong and disingenuous with this argument is that we're talking about the community that still to this day, and even outside of the Destiny community, the gaming community will hold Bungie accountable for vaulting and sunsetting paid content. There is no fucking way the community that is still grilling and crucifying Bungie for that sin, and rightly so, pushed for Bungie to abandon 90% of the game for the portal. That was not a choice. That was never echoed. That was never pursued by the community. And that is why you should not take anything this person says for any value whatsoever. Talking about exploring. You know who liked exploring? The community. And no one asked. And it started in Final Shape when they made the Pale Heart outside of the activity. It was completely barren. Like, he was disconnected. You didn't see people running around the Pale Heart. It was just, that's it. Outside of, the event, the activity, overflow, that was it. That was the only time you connected with people. There was no public space. And I felt like the tower could have been a great spot to see people to hang out. But that was a Bungie choice. No one told Bungie to do that. No one said, hey, Bungie, you know what I don't like in my social game? No socialism. Bungie, I'm really tired of doing, I don't want to play Pinnacle Ops. Could you nerf Encore, even though a lot of people are farming this for the power grind? Can you nerf that for us? Oh, the grapple that you showed off on stream and showed people, running around crazy of it. Yeah, could you disable that and then later nerf that? Thank you, Bungie. Yeah, because the community asked for that. Could you please only make running solo ops the most rewarding for my time instead of actually, making the whole game rewarding? Yeah. Please, can you make it the most unrewarding experience anyone plays? Yeah, thank you. The community wants that. No. No one asked for this shit. You cannot blame the community and say that we rushed them. Even here's the funny thing. You can't even blame the community for rushing Bungie to push out updates because no one even fucking asked for this.
I have one page of friends that shows us online and playing the game. The magic is fading.
Well, the magic is fading because they realize that people like you are trying to gaslight them and suck the balls of $1 billion company. Like, I hope it's like, I hope you're getting paid top for fellatio, because goddamn, you are right now. I thought Maddox and Scaro and all these other content creators were just absolute glazing the shit out of Bungie, but this is some top tier fellatio. I'm telling you.
And it's not solely because of Bungie's choices.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's because every single step forward they tried to make, it's met with yelling backwards from the community. Eventually, I don't really blame them for not caring or not listening. This wasn't...
Yes. Lightfall, even though people praised Witch Queen, Lightfall was completely the community's fault. Even though it was highly rated both by critics and highly reviewed by the community and praised, even now, people are still comparing and using Witch Queen as comparison to how shit Edge of Fate is. But hey, people were hyped. In fact, you know how you want to know how this person is such a fucking disingenuous person? Disingenuous. Right here. Right here. Nope, not right here. Right here. This is the highest high, and it's probably going to be the same for console as well. The highest peak of all time. That was Lightfall. After the success, the absolute success of Witch Queen, people were hyped. People were excited. People were ready to play Destiny. And you know what we got? We got Lightfall. One of the biggest disappointments that we've ever had. And it literally, it was so bad. It was such a bad expansion that people lost their jobs. And is that the community's fault? No, because the community gave praise. They highlighted what worked. They said, this is great. Bungie's the one who chose. By the way, it's not like, but they rushed this thing out, by the way. Bungie met the same timeline as they have every other expansion. And it's funny, if they needed more time to cook, they could have chosen to do so because they were still riding the high of Witch Queen, and the community might have given it to them. But you know what was happening around that time? COVID. COVID was still weaning up and down. Game sales were up, baby. And guess who wanted to capitalize on game sales? Bungie. And guess who fucking failed? Bungie. Because they shoved out a fucking stinker to cash grab as many people as possible, which they probably succeeded. They got a shit ton of sales. But you know what? They lost all of it. And is that the community's fault? No.
Just a failure of Bungie. Again, I am in no way trying to defend them or
yes, you are.
say that they are perfect and did no wrong, okay? I am simply trying to highlight that the community needs to hold itself accountable for the part it played in this whole mess, okay? This was also a failure of us, the players, because even when we thought we were helping, we were literally just pulling apart the game faster. For so many of us, Destiny isn't just a game. It's a world we built friendships in. It's such a social game. It's a place we spend years.
It's funny, you mentioned social, and I gave you receipts of Bungie choosing to make the game less social. And is that the community's fault? No.
Years grinding, raiding, chasing loot, creating memories.
Oh, you know, raiding, that thing that Bungie chose to make the most unrewarding thing in the game and made you abandon 90% of the other raids. That thing. Oh yeah. The community's, that's our fault.
But when I log in, I don't feel excited to play anymore.
Well,
I feel like
you're not the only one, because other people don't feel excited too.
Walking through the ruins of something that, truthfully, myself included, and the community helped kind of destroy, you know? Destiny was never going to die to another game.
You're right. It was gonna die because Bungie killed it. You're right, because Bungie fucking killed it.
It's gotten this way because the community, with all of its complaints and impatience, literally just stomped it into the ground. So yeah, I'm angry. I'm angry because Destiny deserved better, because Bungie deserved better, and because
Bungie deserved better. Holy shit. Suck. Again, here before I say it. Please suck their dick harder. God, I need to ask Bungie, how's the fellatio? How's it feel, baby? How does it feel? That meter, Bungie, you taste so good. Oh, poor Bungie. You deserve so much. You deserve better. What about the fucking players? Where about the people who paid for fucking content that is now soft sunset? Again, you're talking about the community is still crucifying Bungie for vaulting paid content. What about the other 90% that Bungie is choosing to try to soft sunset and abandon? What about the people, the new players who have no fucking idea if they're not playing with friends and they buy shit and then they find out that shit doesn't matter because Bungie's not doing anything with it? Man, I guess fuck them. Am I right? Poor Bungie.
we as players deserve better. Instead,
yes. Okay. So they did say something about players, but again, mention Bungie came first. There is a psychological thing going on here where we're putting Bungie before the players.
We just drowned this game in negativity and impatience until there was literally nothing left to save. And then we have the audacity to be sad about it. It's really hard.
Yes, the people who paid for content have the audacity to be sad that they spent time, they pay currency and time, by the way, all the years that they've played this game, and to watch a $1 billion company chase side projects, squander money, people lose their jobs because of the company's bad decisions, and they're just not happy with where Destiny's going. Yes, the audacity. Damn, the audacity.
For a game to get good press, draw in customers, and have room to breathe when the literal community goes around and tells everybody that the game is dog shit or not worth playing. We need a shift in the community.
Well, at this point, in this state of in this entire year, outside of Final Shape, this entire year, absolutely, it's been dog shit. Like, yeah, it has been absolutely dog shit. Like, the game is just this, and the fact it is dog shit because the game isn't functioning correctly. That's fair too. When you can't even boot up the fucking game without crashing, it's dog shit.
Shift in how we communicate. And if that's not something that you want to hear, I'm sorry, not sorry, I guess. One of my all-time favorite games is something that I can't even bring myself to open right now. It's so hard to want to play because it is such a social game. Like, this game thrives.
Who made it less social? Please tell me on the graph where the players who've left the game, tell me which one of them forced Bungie at gunpoint to make the portal and to nerf anything that was actually viable as a social game, Encore and all that shit. Tell me on the graph where Bungie was held at gunpoint to nerf that shit and make people go solo ops. Tell me where on the grid Bungie, by the way, Bungie, who held Bungie at gunpoint from the community to do the power grind as egregious as it was, even though people hated the power grind and have said that multiple times. But tell me on the graph how the community is at fault for doing that and destroying the vibe of the game. Please tell me who on the graph and from the community was responsible for forcing Bungie to turn the game into fucking Fortnite with menus. Please, we are all waiting.
Lives on community. I remember when, and again, I've only been playing for 5 years, so.
Oh, you poor bastard! Oh, you poor bastard! Oh, you're still a baby. You haven't been here since launch of Destiny 1. You poor bastard. You have no fucking idea.
Forgive me if my memory is like a little spotty on this, but there was some type of event and I can't remember if it was like a Warmind thing or like a Rasputin kind of thing.
You're talking about
where
Season
people
of the
had done
Worthy.
A bunch of stuff in the
I think.
tower, and it was a community-wide thing.
Oh yeah, the Almighty. Yeah, the live event for the Almighty being shot by Rasputin.
And I just, all you saw like in the timeline was people, how much people had donated like individually, and everyone's like, oh, I wonder, you know, what number we're at, and if we're gonna hit it and all this stuff.
Oh.
And then we had like gone above and beyond, and like everybody was just so happy, and it's like,
Yep.
that's the Destiny I remember. That's the Destiny.
Yeah, live events, which the community, outside of the fact that it just took too long, which was, I think, a fair criticism, is that spending an hour to watch pixels on the screen, it was really hype and exciting, but yeah, it did take a little long, especially if you had to work. You're like, well, I've got to go to work, right? And you only get to experience once. It's the same thing with Fortnite, and Fortnite usually doesn't take too long. It does take time to boot up, but like, it's not that long of an event. It's pretty exciting, but people like that. So, and guess what? No one held Bungie at gunpoint to stop doing that, but it was over delivery, so we can't do that.
I want to play.
We're setting patterns.
I want to play the one that's community driven, that had destinations to explore. That makes me want to hop on with my friends. And it's just really sad that it's in the state that it's in.
Yep.
If you made it this far, thanks for listening to my yap. I usually don't do this, and
you probably should stop. Let's be honest. You probably should never do this again. Based on this fucking ratio, let's see, you're getting people that make the game aren't at fault for the state of the game. That is a wild take, gotta say. Yeah, you didn't watch the video. That's not what I said at all. No, that is exactly what you said. And while you give a preface of yes, Bungie has made some mistakes, you follow it with rather large, but followed by like every ounce of your vitriol out on the Destiny community. None of that righteous anger was saved. Bungie being at times tone deaf, overly greedy, breaking promises, especially to PvP community. And I was a PvE main, stretching themselves so thin that they couldn't possibly divert enough resources to keep the game in good state. Not 1 ounce of anger is directed there. Your take on this is good. Lots of passive aggressive, really. Yes, it is use. It's Rich blaming the community. We don't design the game. Bungie does. They make the decisions. The most unpopular decisions are in direct conflict with what the community wanted. They decided to develop 5 other IPs off the back of the one source of revenue. They decided to push constant aggressive monetization to delete half the game, ignore 2/3 of the game for literal years, Gambit and PvP, outright lying, recent Iron Banner, bait switch, ignore feedback, and doing direct opposite leveling drama. Bungie got the community they deserved because they cultivated themselves. Fucking exactly. In summary, D2 community fault 80%, Bungie's fault 20%. We're on an 8-year iterations to the game. Within those 8 years, there have been different iterations where people enjoyed the game and are sad it's changed now. It's divided community beyond repair. The community didn't decide on changing the game every year. Bungie did. True. Nah, it's shillcoat vibes. Everyone hated power leveling. Yes, and Bungie knew this before they designed Edge of Fate. Bungie actively designs things knowing players aren't going to like it, but it was with their lazy, cheap business model, so they apologized after the community. Sorry, 3 years ago, this was a valid conversation, but it's not anymore. Destiny 2 just sucks now. Simple as that. I still show at 127 my total. I haven't even hit my final form. Holy shit. I haven't even hit my final form. Yes. Oh, God. Why? Why are people... Why are content creators so fucking insufferable? They're so fucking tone deaf. 2, they're just some of the dumbest motherfuckers I have ever seen when it comes to gaming. It's like, how fucking conceited are you that you're smelling your own fucking fart? Guys, I love Bungie. I'm a Destiny 2 content creator. Bungie, pays my bills by, sending people to my channel, and I love Bungie. I give them fellatio for free. Like, god damn. It is crazy that even the very beginning, we start with calling out the community before we call out Bungie. Everything that they said starts with the community being the problem and then Bungie. That is the psychological breakdown of this entire fucking video is community bad, Bungie kind of bad, but mostly it's the community's fault that Bungie's bad. They deserve better. You guys kind of deserve better, but kind of fuck you guys because you made the game not social. You kind of turned it into like, you know, an ancient relic. It's your fault. Fuck you guys. What? You guys are assholes. I'm sorry. I just can't. This has got to be one of the best. And, you know, I wish I had an actual Infinity Gauntlet. This has got to be the Soul Stone. Because it's not anything to do with intelligence. Like, if this isn't the soul of the issue with the content creators against, like, the actual people who play this fucking game and understand that Bungie's the issue, this is the soul of the issue. Is that you have people who are willing to shill. They're willing to say the Titanic is the greatest ship that ever existed. No one could, you know, we love the Titanic, even though it's fucking sinking to the iceberg. Guys, there's not going to be a better ship than the Titanic. It's unsinkable. It's just the passengers are fucking idiots. Like, fuck those guys. The Titanic's amazing, guys. It's amazing. I'm sorry. I'm being very facetious, but it is such a brain dead take. Like, how could you wrote a script? You should have fucking followed it. How could you start a conversation like this and not be ripped to fucking shreds? And the fact that this person actually is sponsored, like, fuck, if they can be sponsored, Sonic, sponsor my ass. Trust me, if I'm gonna, like, at least shill your fucking sponsor, because at least it makes sense, but goddamn. I'm sorry. Let me know in the comments down. I'm just very facetious with this. A 10-minute video turned into a fucking hour. And that's because I literally roast the shit out of this. And I think I did a fair job of bringing some fucking receipts and good arguments, because that's how you fucking do it. If you're going to counter criticism, bring the fucking receipts and bring some fucking evidence. Because it is insane, the gaslighting from this. There's so much gas, fucking NASA could use it to go to the fucking moon. All right, I'm over it. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.